or Doom plus CM into the EMK, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried because right now CIS teams, they tend to
build, like a Yule Scepter, not necessarily for setting up kills, but gap closing and just staying alive, allowing that secondary form of initiation to come in, whether that be the Tiny or the Magnus.
Yeah, and I'm liking the build-up. If you go Yules into Aghanims, you can go Lincoln Sphere as well later on for the Doom. You have these mobile core heroes that can exploit the Empower, and you have strong laning. Worst case scenario, you don't win the mid lane because they're going to counter match up, but you can still go to the side lanes and exploit those two side lanes. So there are options here for HellRaisers, but they always go back to those Quinn Paynes and those Lenas. I really hate it.
Yeah.
And if Lacoste is casting later, he's probably going to be the same thing as well. So
He's casting this one.
Yeah,
So
fortunately enough for you, Lacoste will be on the mic for this one. So
I
you
wanna
guys
see
are
Void
thinking
Spirit.
Ember,
I want to see
Void.
Void Spirit. There we go.
All right.
Thank goodness.
All right.
I mean, it's Kasani's most favorite hero for that mid lane. He doesn't go Orchid, and I think this is a pretty terrible Orchid game as well, so that's nice. You can just go Yule Scepter Ags, be that frontliner, because they're kind of lacking a little bit, at least until, well, Tiny's not even a frontliner. He is that secondary form of initiation when you can catch them off guard. So it's going to be really down to execution on HellRaisers' side. Are they going to put that much trust in Kasani? Because if they do, I think they do have the tools to be able to take this one out.
Yeah, the one thing about HellRaisers is they play really well when they have these aggressive lanes. And sure, maybe it's very one-dimensional. We've seen it before when they played the Night Stalker, and it didn't really seem to be a great lineup. And maybe a team like Secret will be able to punish it more, but they make it work. And that's the thing. It's their comfort. It's what they're confident with as well. So I do love their lineup. I think this is what they're actually known for and what they're actually good at. So no complaints here for HellRaisers lineup. It's just really going to come down to how the lanes progress and how they're going to use that laning advantage or just the lane's movement transitioning into the mid game and see how they can stop this Drow Ranger from scaling and getting to those timings where it can just really punish you with just one button.
This is a pretty good Visage game as well.
Oh, you want to see it from Supreme?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of instances of damage. Avalanche is probably the main one, and they gone for the Quap with the last pick. I don't know about that one, because, you know, that Shadow Strike suddenly loses a ton of its effectiveness for Supreme if you just get one skill point into the Dissimulate. You know, you dodge out all of that damage, and, you know, you are able to capable of shoving out lanes and having a form of escape because you know that Era's Clockwork is going to be roaming around a fair amount.
Yep, it's very likely it's going to be Max on the Dissimulate as well, just to push out the lane, control the runes and whatnot. You do have the Tiny as well who can help you control the runes here, which is very important.
Position 3 Enchantress, boys.
First time we've seen it. You know, normally we think of Seb when we think of Pos 3 Enchantress, but I think they're thinking the similar sort of thing with the laning setup. They don't want to put that much emphasis into the Magnus, considering it might be in a losing lane. So just saying, look, we need a ranged hero that's still able to get something out of it. I like how they were able to salvage the draft with the Void Spirit a little bit, but I'm not confident with this Queen of Pain, so I'm really on the fence as to which team I'm going to be favoring for this.
All right, enough fence sitting, Matt. I need a word. I need a team name, and I need it right now. Matt.
You first.
Darcy.
I actually
I need a team name, boys. I need a team name.
The Queen of Pain I don't like.
No more fence sitting.
But I'm going NIP because I think the draw lineup's just easier to execute. If they hit their timings, they're going to punish.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so both my boys here are going to go with NIP. I had to kick them off the fence to get us there, but it means that we're going to be able to get into game number 1 with our casters for today. It's going to be Gaza and Kosti.
Yeah, g'day everyone. Gaza and Kosti here. How you doing? Lacoste, good morning. It's Dota time. Best of 3 here as both teams on the verge of elimination. HellRaisers up against NIP. And you were talking about this Drow Ranger draft and how things were looking for HellRaisers matching up into it. How do you feel about that swap of Enchantress from the POS 4 or 5 into the 3 for Funnick?
HellRaisers, they were keeping everything open to see how the last pick is gonna go, but they're gonna put the Doom on a mid lane and they just put Monkey or Mag, and they needed to adjust because if you have 2 melee heroes against the Drow Ranger and Crystal Maiden, you don't get to play Dota, especially if you want to like flex Void Spirit into Drow Ranger. It's
They're
unplayable.
already
matchup.
fighting
Let's go.
5v5, Lacoste. What's happening? Lil being burst down. The Tiny's already gone as Charlie gets the first blood, and the Skewer back onto 2. They've trapped out the Drow Ranger. So Charlie trades his life, and it's a full-on 5v5 brawl before the creeps spawn. Era's being whacked away at by Nyx, but they can't stick on a target until Saberlight gives himself away. And can they slow him down enough to find the kill? They turn and fight. NIP want to battle with the Frostbite. Nyx has to get back up the ramp as Saberlight's going to drop here. That final touch from Kasani. My goodness, a 2-2 as we
4
begin the
kills.
game with a bang. 4 kills already.
Oh, this one's looking good. You know, both of these teams want to win badly. 5-man smoke into 5-man smoke. So Charlie,
Excellent.
he got the first blood. Okay, they are putting the Drow Ranger on the bottom lane.
And look at HR, they're still all lurking around middle lane, and this comes down to the lane matchups, right? What exactly are HellRaisers looking to avoid here?
What NIP wants to do is just run an aggressive tri-lane because it's super strong and just leave Saberlight in possible 1 versus 1 scenario. But if they like follow Doom with the Monkey King and possibly play like a tri-lane with Enchantress, Tiny, and Mag, like, should be fine.
Well, for now, King R, the position 5 Magnus, getting some free farm.
Yeah,
As the
check what
support's having
Saberlight and Charlie are doing in the jungle.
Yeah, they're chilling.
Like, where do we go?
Well, Doom definitely doesn't want to be up against the Monkey King. So NIP are trying to put that Drow Ranger up top. Lil's going to scout out, also block the camp, make sure there are no pulls coming. So a grand old time for the supports early on. Crystal Maiden getting a decent amount of experience, as we also have Clockwork being chased down into the trees. Era, he did get himself a couple of CS down in this bottom lane. King R skewers him, drops him very low, but Era with the cogs at level 1, and those brown boots will be able to escape to safety.
So we still don't have the lanes, and we can see different kind of builds that they decided to go for since it was a 5 versus 5 fight. Doom with the Scorched Earth, something that you don't usually see. Tiny with the Avalanche instead of Toss. What else is there? Queen of Pain going for Scream of Pain, and Void doesn't even have a point in Dissimulate. Like, it's just a big brain play, you know? You want to dodge a Shadow Strike with the Dissimulate, Queen of Pain's not gonna get it, but then you don't even get it. And now
Some
she gets 2
galaxy
points
brain
in
stuff.
it.
Well, they do another lane swap. Monkey King down bottom means Drow Ranger makes the long walk across. And Doom has already made his home up top. So they're making sure that they don't waste TPs, as there is always that kind of reactor's advantage when it comes to TPs and these lane matchups. You TP first, and you get screwed over if your opponents get to react to your movement. That's
Well,
a
at one
great start for
point-
Tiny. Like, we always talk about Tiny needing kills early on, but if he's given a free lane for the first 2.5 minutes, he's level 3 already.
They might like swap things around since Enchantress is not getting too much. She's just jungling for now, 1 CS, and this benefits Tiny a lot. Like, I think teams realize how to play against Tiny, where you just don't give him
Quab.
any early kills.
Monkey comes in and helps Xani get the snipe on Queen of Pain. No points in Blink as she went 2-0-1. A good little Ether Remnant into Boundless Strike. That was a nice kill. Roaming Monkey, position 1.
You really don't expect position 1 Monkey to come gank the mid lane 3 minutes in, that's for sure. And yeah, we talked about getting good kills early on Tiny, but you don't necessarily need to get kills. If you get levels, that means that you're going to be efficient, like around the 6 to 10 minute mark with a lot of levels. And now he's starting to hunt people down already.
And this means the Doom has to move himself away from the top lane, as again, HellRaisers not expending TPs to move, but just moving across the map naturally. We'll see what happens. Clockwork will TP top. Drow Rangers making, yeah, again, the long walk across the river, migrating from bot lane to top lane. And Supreme now a level behind that Void Spirit in the mid lane. Still having a decent time, but 24-9 on Void Spirit. He is having a perfect laning stage.
You know why? Because he did not move. Like, this is my lane. You know, I'm not gonna swap things around. I'm just gonna play mid, the rune spawning. There's gonna be a
Drow!
region.
Drow is sandwiching in to contest the top rune. regen grabbed by Xani. We'd expect the Clockwork or the Tiny and stuff like that to be there, not a level 2 Drow Ranger at 4 minutes.
NIP is losing so much because of all these rotations. At one point, you just need to stop. Like, you can't afford to like get another swap because your Drow Ranger is suffering. Crystal Maiden's level 4, Drow Ranger only level 2.
Oh, Nyx taking a bit of a beating, trapped in the cogs. Great play from Era. 3 heroes from NIP, all converging onto the Monkey, and Lil's gonna fall as well, finding 2 for nothing in that top lane and a double kill for Charlie. That's a great way to get back in the game. So now things can settle down a little bit. Calm it as the laning stage can begin. 5 minutes in, we're gonna have our mid game at about 35 minutes. Just draw everything out as long as you can. NIP wrapping around those top bounty runes, but also coming in towards mid. Xani very low on HP, so Tiny's rotation with the avalanche toss under the tower. Supreme is forced to blink away, and King R has also rotated. Monkey King arriving from the left-hand side. He's in courier mode and finds Misha. Still a lot of NIP heroes in the vicinity, though, as Nyx, he's being pummeled into the ground. Battery Assault there will find the kill, and the rest of HellRaisers still looking for the trade. Misha, the Crystal Maiden, will be the casualty that they hand over to HR.
There's so many rotations going on. It's really hard to follow what's going on, and it's been quite some time since I saw something like this happening. You know what I'm gonna say, right? I remember watching one game where Eternal Envy kept swapping for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, he did not want to play the lane. At the end, they just lost the game, but it was fun to watch.
Oh, nice little rune grab. Era takes it away from the bottle of the Void Spirit, and they've also got the Crystal Maiden here to allow Supreme to kill off King R. I think Xani's fine to wander on away, and as Lil, yet again, moving into the mid lane. Yeah, I also remember, I think there was a Chinese game maybe about a year ago, 9 months ago, where we had the carry and the off lane of both teams jungling at the start of the game. And all the supports were farming the lanes because nobody wanted to get these bad lane matchups.
Just don't show on the lane. Crystal Maiden, level 5, 6 minutes in, not too bad. Like, you already have 2 points in aura, so that means you can start spamming your spells. Drow Ranger on top, just trying to get some solo XP. Controlling the lane, does not want to push it out, so that she's going to be in danger. And we talked about Tiny, like how he was getting a lot of levels, but only managed to get 1 extra level in the last, like, 3 minutes. There's a rotation.
He does toss Saberlight, though. Yeah, Tiny, speaking of, comes in, initiates on the Doom. Lets Nyx get the kill as he turns himself into a TP scroll. The chase is on towards Misha as this Void Spirit, jumping but not diving, leaving the Maiden to hide by her tier 1 as Queen of Pain. Oh, she wants Monkey with a Sonic Wave, but he pops his stick. He felt it coming. Wait, no, he didn't pop the stick. I'm a dumbass. He boundless struck with Jingu, didn't he? He healed up.
Well, Gary, sometimes you need to say stupid stuff at the start, you know, so
Get it out of my
doesn't
system, you know?
in the mid-game and late-game fights when it really matters. Top lane, Phonic just dropping instantly. It's a Clockwork. He gets on top of you, puts you inside of the cogs. I feel
That's just
bad
kill
for our
after
cameraman.
kill. Where is it all happening? I think he's catching everything beautifully. As Nyx does finally drop down bottom, Saberlight and Misha pairing up. 5 to 8. It's not even 8 minutes yet. What a ridiculous beginning to this match and to this best of 3. It's game 1, and we're already starting at such a tempo.
I know what Chad is saying. Like, there is a term for when stuff like this starts to happening. It's called the clown fiesta. And because it's really hard to follow what's going on. This is not your typical Dota. Someone starts to make weird moves, and you have to adapt.
Yeah, like top lane. Phonic trapped in the cogs, the cage from Clockwork. Keeping that Enchantress inside for the Drow Ranger. And she's hit level 6 to take her down, dispatch with the Ench, and now her creep will follow. A nice little bit of bonus gold there for Charlie. And with all this chaos happening, the Clown Fiesta, as you like to call it, who do you think has the advantage? Who likes this kind of state of gameplay?
I want to see how many mistakes teams are going to make. There
Oh,
is
Queen of Pain.
toss
There's
back.
4 HR
Skewer.
heroes here. Sable, I guess the Doom onto Xani. But the smoke from Clockwork and Maiden, it was coming from the top lane, is just a little bit too slow. Queen of Pain way over eager to get involved in that bottom lane.
8 heroes bottom.
Are they going to dive? They frostbite up Lil. The tiny avalanches onto the two of them as they come through the tree line. Also centering to try and deward the Observer. Nyx and Xani both trying to heal up. They do have some Jingu stacks with a good boundless strike, and now the freezing field comes out. The skewer across will cancel it out, but the Sonic Wave's beautiful. Supreme with a double kill, and they go in further. Supreme's going to fall as Xani does take the pick. And Nyx hiding up on top of the canopy in the tree line, safe and sound. But Kasani, even though he gets the Crystal Maiden here, and Funnick's trying to help out, Saberlight trying to bail away with the TP out. Maybe the final hit will touch, and Saberlight is brought down. Drow Ranger, the only hero to not get involved in this bottom lane fight, as Era goes for the swift TP back to Fountain, and it will be successful.
Even the courier is gonna die, so we lost like 7 heroes in the last 1 minute. Bounty rune spawning as well. We might need a pause, you know, or chill down for a bit, so I can think what's actually happening in the game. It's too chaotic at the moment.
Ask the admin if the casters can pause just for a breather.
I'm spamming that F9 right now.
Spectator pause disabled for ceremonial reasons. Jeez Louise. Well, NIP, you know, slight net worth lead. Drow Ranger was sitting back farming, so even if they're trading reasonably evenly, you do have this backup plan in Charlie. As we haven't yet, and we probably won't see the power of the Empower coming from HR for another 5-10 minutes or so, when you can start accelerating on the Monkey King and the Void Spirit. But that's kind of the backup plan here for HR, right?
Monkey King? Yeah,
He's in
he
trouble.
looks pretty dead to me.
Big trouble. Maybe if he got the Jingu and the Boundless, but Era has the Battery Assault stopping the Jingu stacks from building up too quickly.
NIP is getting so much more out of this, where they have Magnus, who's actually farming for himself instead of empowering the cores, and Charlie, he's just popping off. He got 6 kills after that first blood as well, only managed to die once in that 5 versus 5 engagement, trying to push the tower. Like, look at the NIP, where they're farming right now. They're just invading the enemy jungle, securing the bottom tower. They know there's not going to be any kind of rotation coming here.
Yeah, it feels like we're 5 minutes into this game, but it's 11.5 minutes in. There's catapults coming. NIP utilizing it to take that bottom tier 1, like you say. Era trying to frontline here with Misha. Safeguard this bottom Radiant jungle. Make sure Drow can't get wrapped around on. How are we looking item-wise? Because, usually we're very, very focused on items, the timings, especially for these core heroes. Has anybody made any serious progress yet?
No such thing as item synchronization in this game, because it's a mess, It's not like they're saying we need a BKB. They also need some time to think, see what's gonna happen. Queen of Pain, I see she's going for the Orchid against the Void Spirit, against the Monkey King. She can also get a solo kill on pretty much any of the targets once she gets it. One reason why Void Spirit is getting Yule Scepter. Yeah, Funnick, he's not having a game.
Hook shot into freezing field, trapped inside the cogs. Funnick on this Enchantress, 0, 3, and 5. Trying to get a little bit tanky with the Bracer and the Strength Treads, but overwhelming magic damage so far from NIP as they successfully make another gank.
Okay, funny story. So Fogged, OD, and me are playing a pub the other day, and there's this guy, Clanks, that's just farming jungle and has a Royal Jelly. Doesn't even know that he can use it. So he just keeps it in his neutral item slot for like 10 minutes. Never seen that happen before.
Bad. And you tried to tell him? You said
we tried to tell him,
use it on us?
It took a while until he realized that he can actually click it.
He's probably listening to, anime soundtrack really loud and farming jungle. Just chilling. Smoke from NIP. Coming in towards the Queen of Pain lane. But HellRaisers very defensively postured. Still trying to use that Empower, which is now level 3, as Monkey King clears through some Ancients. But the map feels pretty small for HR. The threat of this long-range initiation from Clockwork Hookshot, the drums on Doom allowing him to speedily enter the fights, the Queen of Pain blink, the gap close they have. HR need those primary items, I think, the most important one, do you reckon, is Tiny's Blink?
Tiny's Blink Dagger, that's for sure, so they can have someone to close the gap. I mean, when you think about Monkey King, yeah, he's very good at closing the gap, but he doesn't have any defensive items at this stage of the game. Also, Void Spirit getting his Yule Scepter to either have a defensive tools against silence coming out from Drow Ranger, or just to set things up with the Yule Scepter into Remnant.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do with it when he gets it. HellRaisers are amassing their army top. King R with RP ready. Funnick is going to try and scout out front line, see if he can find any creeps. Their Radiant Observer Ward did scout out a couple of NIP, but they've all
Low
retreated.
scouted on the bottom lane.
There's the Drow Ranger with a clockwork into the trees, and that Blink Dagger, it's 200 gold away. So very close for Lil, but great movement again by NIP, really shutting it out.
Perfect target to go for. They understand, like, he's just farming a Blink Dagger on the bottom. We know where the threat is gonna come from, so let's try to kill him.
Well, Doom nearly has his Blink, and if he's able to get that War Stomp, adding in even more initiation to catch out the Monkey and the Void Spirit, who can be those elusive targets in team fights. Funnick farming enemy jungle. The Void Spirit tries to push out that top lane, but it's just a bit of a scramble here for HellRaisers. As you were mentioning, Monkey King doesn't really have a defensive item. S&Y will come, and it's going to tank him up a little bit. Maybe give him the ability to brawl, as it feels like that's all this game is about. Continual battles. Tiny. Yeah, Blink is 20 gold away. He'll have it for the next fight, and I would love to see them go and smoke up together. King R just snipes a courier there. The jump in from the Queen of Pain, met by Tiny and the Monkey King. As Era looks for the hookshot lineup, lands it straight onto Monkey through the Tiny, and the Sonic Wave is beautiful. Now Lil, yeah, he's been left alone. They're following the advice in his nickname, and the freezing field, it is cancelled by the avalanche, and the Doom comes in, catching out Xani as Funnick launches him with shots into Misha. Now the Crystal Maiden will fall, but Sableye is going to bring down another in the backstab from Era. He can cogs push back onto this Magnus skewer over the little ravine. And there's no more catch here from NIP, going 2 for 2.
It's a good trade for HellRaisers because Drow Ranger was not in that fight, and they definitely need her to deal the damage. Good thing that went for them is Queen of Pain using ulti with the Arcane Rune and now has Orchid, so even for the next fight, Sonic Wave will be up again. And if they get like 2-3 pickoffs without losing Drow Ranger and Doom, they have enough damage to actually kill the Roche.
Yeah, something NIP could definitely exploit, having that Aegis on Drow especially. Take down some more of these outer towers, clear up the objectives on the map. This Queen of Pain rushing straight into the BKB after Orchid. Needs a defensive tool, especially against this Tiny now. Blink Dagger ready on Lil as HR smoke up. 4 heroes strong going into the dire jungle, and Misha, the sacrifice here, walks forward and hands herself over to these aggressive hordes of HR heroes. Where's Tiny going? Deep Observer Ward? Lots of spam pings. NIP defending the triangle for the Drow, but also trying to hold this right-hand side of the Tier 1 tower mid. Knowing where HR are coming from, not wanting to get picked off, but still clearing out the creep wave safely.
Drow Rangers is massive at the moment. 10,000 net worth of items. Ring of Aquila, full pike. Like, she has a way of defending herself. Very maneuverable, and she's not burstable. Like, she can't... Oh, she even finds Growbow. Even better.
Yeah. Swaps out the Aquila, gives it over to the Doom. And King R not doing too bad himself. Tranquil's magic stick and halfway to Blink. If they can give this Magnus just a couple of minutes of farm somewhere, that Blink Dagger with the RP could be a vital tool in their arsenal. Tiny's looking for the Queen of Pain down bottom. I don't think he can kill her alone. 1.5k HP. A little too much for him to handle, as Xani didn't want to get too deep there. There's plenty of creeps to be farmed a little closer to his base. So it's going to be up to the Queen of Pain to make that aggressive move. Actually blinks forward and finds the Enchantress.
Era is inside of the Roche pit. Not sure if they want to smoke, scouting things out, protecting the Doom. Like, items are starting to pile up on NIP. They're inside the Roche pit. They're not even, you know, trying to take a fight. Pack leader's aura with the Drow Ranger, that's just massive damage. And Era has a medallion to speed things up.
Yeah, you said it. They can just go straight into Roche as long as Doom and Drow are alive, and there it is. Aegis of the Immortal. Queen of Pain takes it.
Okay, so they decide to give Aegis the Queen of Pain instead of Drow Ranger, even though she has a massive kill streak, because Queen of Pain still doesn't have that BKB, and if she links in, okay, Era's
the
gone.
Doom. Where's the Skewer? Where's the RP? It does land to stop the freezing field. Wukong's command is out. A sonic wave, though, from Supreme, clearing through Funnick, and now the chase under the Monkey. Hookshot long range, connecting on Monkey King. Nyx is down now. They get the scream. Supreme finds the Magnus as he tried to TP home. 4 kills in a row, all thanks to this beautiful hookshot from Era. Finding that angle once again.
Oh, Supreme didn't even pick up the haste rune, so Tiny's gonna get him. They see him. He also blinked in, but with the haste, it's very hard to get a kill. No hook shot, so that means no initiation. It should just be a free tier 2 tower on a mid lane. Surprised HellRaisers wanted to take that fight into Aegis.
Yeah, they got a good initiation, blew up the clockwork, but Era's snap decision to buy back and then have the second wave of initiation, as it were. And as HellRaisers, they're fighting on this dire side of the map, nearer tier 1. You've got to expect the buybacks and the immediate TPs.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Still trying to use that surprise initiation from the Blink and the strength of this Monkey King to their advantage. But a 9k lead now for NIP makes it an uphill struggle for HellRaisers.
I think it's go time for NIP. Drow Rangers just finished their Manta style. Doom, I think, yeah, that's a 10-second BKB on Doom, 10-second BKB on Queen of Pain. She popped
and there
the
is the BKB.
Okay.
Got initiated on by Tiny. Yules, but the hookshot and the gust silencing up the Void Spirit trapped inside the clumsy net. And Saberlight giving chase, continuing to move forward as Magnus forced to skewer away, but the blink forward. Queen of Pain once in, the toss back to save King R, the avalanche lands, and Lil holds back the aggression. NIP still want to go up high ground. Silence from the Orchid, they're just diving tier 3, not a care in the world. They're going for it. Wild maneuvers from Ninjas in Pyjamas, forcing the buyback from Funnick, and they're going straight high ground. Drow plus Catapult, goodbye tower.
They're not stopping. They're gonna go for these racks. As Queen of Pain still has Aegis, mana regen kicking in from the Arcane and the Essence Ring. So that's what we like to call free barracks. HellRaisers, they're not even trying to engage into this team fight. Magnus, not even close to a Blink Dagger, 1,000 gold away. I've seen position 5 Enchantress being more farmed than position 3 Enchantress at this point.
Yeah, he's had a pretty atrocious run so far this game. 22.5 minutes in, but that mid lane completely gone. At least Monkey was able to shove the bottom wave, so it wasn't an immediate swing from mid into bottom for that second lane of barracks, but NIP have a great position now. Dire side up into this Radiant Triangle. We always talk about how the Dire team loves to play off of these ramps from this high ground, which they can hold quite simply with just the high ground observer ward. And they can pressure into both lanes, forcing HellRaisers to be hemmed back in their base.
Yeah. This is what the top tier teams do as well. They set up a high ground ward, they drag the mid creep wave near that ward, kill it, and they start pushing top. They don't care too much about the bottom lane. There's still a tier 1 tower standing there, so this is one way to end the game. And knowing HellRaisers, they lose one more fight, they GG out.
And they still have Aegis on Queen of Pain for another minute, Lacoste. For some reason in my head, I thought it was already gone, but nah, Supreme still has it. Toss the Doom into the tier 4s, but the backstab, it looks like Magnus has already fallen. Magnus has buyback, but they've killed off Saberlight, so a good trade there. As Magnus does also have the buyback if he wants to spend it.
This is such perfectly executed by HellRaisers. They set up a Remnant and they toss him back so that he doesn't have enough time to pop a BKB.
And that's the end of Saberlight. Second lane defended. Ranged Rax is on 400 HP. We'll see if round 2 comes as NIP just gather themselves. Reset back into the triangle for Drow. as her butterfly is honestly very nearly done. 15,000 net worth at 24 minutes for Charlie's Drow. After spending the first 3 minutes walking around, having a stroll through the forest, looking at the nature and the wildlife.
Radiant's
I don't know if all that meditating has increased his GPM somehow, but he's having a great time. 8-1-4.
He became one with the jungle. Man, Charlie had an amazing game. Sometimes I watch Charlie play, I'm like, what is this guy doing? Watching him 30 minutes after, he's like one of the best players. Like his decision making is on point.
Oh, double damage rune. Drow Illusion sees it. Charlie with a DD going to be hitting for about 500.
Double damage.
Jeez, 482.
That's 500 plus extra for marksmanship.
Does Saberlight still have? Yeah, Saberlight still has Pack Leader's Aura, so that's going to be even more damage. 584.
Make that 600 plus 700. Quick and easy math.
700 damage a hit. Thank you, Lacoste. And here they come. NIP looking to go for the jugular now. Misha, high ground ward. Oak shot in. Catching Magnus. Avalanche toss. The clockwork's back into the tier 4s, but it starts the Monkey King before the Wukongs can come. But Era's still in trouble as the Sonic Wave lands as Supreme clears through Nyx. No buyback on Monkey, and they've also killed off Magnus. Lil has returned
Radiant's bottom
as he pops his
tower is under
buyback, but there's no fight to be had anymore. Charlie's just focusing down on the tier 3s. Now they initiate onto the Drow. She's very low. Great movement there, and Charlie's gone. His streak destroyed, but Saberlight's on an ultra kill. Get this man a rampage. Let the Doom get back in. But HR, they have their numbers back again to defend the base. And NIP.
I think this is a perfect example. Queen of
RP?
Pain, she got caught. RP.
She got her BKB off. Nice Glimmer Cape as well as King R has to face off against the freezing field, and Supreme blinks aggressively up onto high ground.
They need to bail. They got so many kills and buybacks out of that fight. It's time to reset. Bounty runes also spawned. And to my point, when I talked about Charlie, like this is the example where he's just going ham, and then for some reason stands his ground, starts taking the tier 3 tower, gets tossed back and dies.
Yeah, maybe thinking he's playing with a BKB or something. Manta, Hurricane Pike, no Butterfly just yet. But he just allows himself to get tossed back into the middle of HR.
Yeah, you should always respect Tiny when they're defending the tier 3, tier 4 towers. Same goes for Mag. Not this Mag, because he does not have a Blink Dagger, but it's a possible that, you know, they make some big plays. They toss people into the Remnant. He's waiting there, skewers back to the Fountain.
How much does he need? 850 for Blink?
He bought
Somebody
back
give
in the
this-
previous fight.
Ah, yeah. 6.5 minute cooldown. Give King R some farm. Let him hit some creeps.
Invisibility.
Next, Roshan, fast spawn in about 10 seconds. That's what NIP are waiting for, with a Drow Illusion in the pit. And probably send a courier over there to scout it out as well. And it looks like HR are planning to smoke or make a movement together, all gathering up into their triangle. And Roshan's a fast one, 40 seconds. Doom, invisible with Blink War Stomp now. Monkey King, Primal Spring into the creep wave, and he's caught by Saberlight. The Orchid's there, and the Doom as well. Trying to chase down Monkey, but Tiny closes them off, stops the
Good
advance.
force stab by Ench.
Great move by HR, but they'll have to give up Tiny, who, remember, doesn't have buyback as he used it in the previous fight. And Roshan's going to spawn perfectly here for NIP, isn't it?
Let's check it. 10 seconds. They're going to scout things out. What they can do is just put the courier. Roshan being pinged by HR. Let's go one more time. Keep it inside the pit, Charlie. That is correct decision. And there's also a solar crest, you know, a casual one coming out from Clockwork.
I like
We see
how
that-
Clock... Sorry, go on, Lacoste.
No, go on. There's going to be a big fight, and the HellRaisers.
They've hookshotted Monkey, pushed into the low ground. Era, gorgeous plays as King Arp can't even get an RP off, and Monkey's done for. 2 quick kills in succession, and GG's call. Triple kill for Supreme, and NIP have shut this one out with some gorgeous execution from the Clockwork of Era.
Yeah, that was a good performance by NIP, where They were swapping lanes quite a lot, but then at one point they decided to stop. We're gonna give Drow Ranger levels that she needs. She's gonna keep the lane static, keep farming, and yeah, rotations. I think Era also played extremely well this game, where he had some good hook shots. I don't remember seeing a missed hook shot, not even once this game.
Yeah, he had some really perfect angles. That primary form of initiation from NIP working out wonders. Sableye, everyone I think played very well, and it all starts off with those lane swaps early on, as NIP knew exactly what they wanted to avoid, and they made sure that Monkey King never really got to lane up against that Doom in the early stages. So game one, bit of chaos there. Into the meat grinder we go as everyone battled at the start, 5v5 before creeps even spawn. We had so many kills, a lot of action, but it is NIP who are a little more systematic, a little more disciplined, and clear cut with their execution this game. So a 1-0 lead for them in a best of 3, as we'll find out what happens next after this break.
might be time to call Ninjas in Pyjamas the new Doom Slayers, because they went into Hell and they ripped and teared until it was done. HellRaisers, they lose the first game here against the Ninjas in Pyjamas, put them only one game away from elimination here at ESL 1 Germany. Now, I'm back here with my panel, lads, to break down that first game. You came in, Matt, and you're like, I'm so right.
I mean,
Why are you right?
Well, we talked about it in the draft, right? It just felt like it was completely outdrafted. You can't get aggressive. You can't play this Magnus strat when you've got something like a Drow that can just get so much more aggressive than you. And I feel like the supporting cast, and it's kind of weird to call a mid laner a supporting cast, but I feel like Supreme played that really well, you know, itemizing perfectly. They gave him the first Aegis. He went BKB pretty early on, and he did a lot of work.
Yeah, I was a little worried when I saw the... Wait, my mic. Sorry. I was a little worried when I saw Nyx just running around. Looked like he was playing a position 4 MK, and then the Enchantress wasn't really starting as a position 3 either.
Yeah.
I did like the fact that he sent a creep middle and slowed down Supreme start, which was an advantageous matchup for him, obviously, against the Void Spirit. But at the same time, Supreme, he was everywhere. He was bot lane, he went top lane. He was doing what the Void Spirit should have done, and he was a lot more efficient with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I love that at the 0 minute mark. Just go on full Divide, 4 kills, and before even 0 seconds in, which is always great to see. But yeah, they just punished Nyx so heavily. When we were in the green room watching the game, I was like, wait, what's going on here? Mag's second on net worth, and it's King R playing it. Just because Nyx was roaming around trying to get a more favorable matchup for that mid lane. I feel like they were trying to emphasize that so hard on HellRaisers, even putting the Enchantress creep in there on top of that. But still, Supreme was able to get let's say a neutral lane out of that one, and you'd have to be pretty happy with that considering how much attention was put his way.
All in all, though, I felt NIP, even though Supreme should be the MVP, right? I still think all of them played exceptionally well. I mean, they were all very active. They played their style of strong lanes, very single-targeted kind of heroes, but they snowballed the early game. They played their strat, which was really good against the Magnus, as we spoke about, and yeah, they're just very well executed by them.
Yeah, it really does feel like every single time that we see this position 5 Magnus, that it doesn't pay off. Only Notel so far, I believe, is the only person that's able to make that work. And now coming into this, maybe teams need to be focusing a little bit more on this Magnus having a good lane so he can be a core. And we talked about it towards the end of the draft. Maybe Darcy said that could have thought that Funnick could have played this instead of the Enchantress, put himself in a good position where he farms up, gets that Blink Dagger, gets a few more items, and you can actually utilize this Magnus for what he is, instead of him just being a melee creep.
Yeah, I think you just need to stop them from diving you constantly. I mean, look at his items. He had nothing, Tranquil Boots and a stick. That is about it. So I think Mag, it's the second most contested hero in ESL 1 Germany so far, both from the picks and the bans, but I just don't think you can open with it in your first pick unless you're getting rid of something that can be hyper-aggressive like the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, melee creep. You do have the piercing damage from the Drow, let's say, because you got a, bow and arrow. But at the same time, yeah, I really agree. I just don't see why they place it as a position 5. It's too slow to begin with. It's already kind of slow when you play it as a 3, but you had the option to do so. MVP, no surprise, I think.
Yeah, playing it very, very well. Itemization on point. You want to be able to lock down that Void Spirit as well. So first item, Orchid into the BKB. Shiva's just for a little bit of a safety net at the end. I think you couldn't really fault anything out of Supreme there.
Yeah, another thing as well to mention is we talked about how Notel played the Mag, position 5, but there's a massive difference between how these guys played it as well as Notel's. They're very aggressive. OG, when they play their Mag, they actually win their lanes with a Mag PA against counter matchups such as the Underlord by Alliance. So it's one of those situations where I feel like OG has a better grasp on how to play it as a position 5 compared to HellRaisers. They're just really using it for the Empower itself.
Yeah, well, it does seem like Ninjas in Pyjamas have it all figured out here in their series against HellRaisers. So hopefully you guys at home have it all figured out, because it's time again for our DHL draw.